The currency of life is time, and how we use our time determines how satisfied we'll be, how content we'll be, and how happy you'll be with life. If we waste it, if we're lazy, if we're procrastinating, if we're delaying things and postponing, it completely saps self-esteem, saps energy. And that feeling or that state or that beingness when we're lazy, procrastinating, delaying, complaining is called tamas. And today I want to talk about that so that you might have some more awareness on how to overcome it and why in a spiritual life, when you're looking to achieve the highest, it's incredibly important to be aware and to fight it. Tamas is one of the 3 gunas which exists in our system, and everybody is a makeup of these different gunas. So you have tamas, which is the laziness, it's the procrastination, it's inertia, it's postponement. It's basically you're not wanting to do anything, really slow, you're no movement at all. Then you have rajas, which is rajasic action, and generally this creates movement and energy, but for a purpose. So for example, I want to earn a lot of money, so that means I'm going to get myself into gear, get a job, or do some sort of business or something like that. So you do it for a self-interest. Then you have sattva, which is when you're in action, perfect action, with no expectation of the result. So those are the 3 predominant states that exist in our system, and we're a mixture of those. Then beyond that is what we call turiya, which is witnesshood. And they say that the journey of a human, of a being, is being able to transition through a mind-led activity into one where we go beyond the mind and liberate ourselves from this mixture of these gunas and become in a witnesshood state, at which point we're perpetually with everything. But that's for another topic. So I wanted to talk about tamas and why it's important on that spiritual path. Now I'm Christopher, and I'm here at the Mohanji Center of Benevolence in Scotland, and this is one of the Mohanji centers that exists in the world. There's many centers, and the purpose of these spaces is to create a pure energetic space for people to achieve the highest human possibility, which is connection to consciousness. So it's a path of Raja Yoga, or called the golden path. And what this demands really is a completion from life. So we're all born with an agenda. We can call that karma. So a pattern of desires, inclinations, and things that we want to achieve in life. So coming back to tamas as a subject, if that's laziness, procrastination, inertia, what that means is if we want to do something in life, for example, maybe you want to go skydiving, or you want to be a writer, or you want to be a poet, or just something with your life you want to do, that's because it's in your karmic makeup to do that. You know, you want to do something and accomplish it. But tamas is that part of us which completely shrinks us. I can't be bothered. I woke up, it's cold today, I don't want to get out of bed. You know, I'm lazy, I don't want to do this, it's too much work, it's too much effort. So it's something that stops us from achieving what we want to. So when you have postponement, when you have delay, when you have procrastination, it means you're not completing what you want to in life. And generally that means you'll be more dissatisfied. But when you move into action and push yourself into action, you achieve things, you accomplish things, and you feel a momentum movement. So I'm talking this in general, and I'll share some of my own personal experiences. But I think the best way of you imagine it is when you're feeling tamasic and lazy, it's like you're lying on a bed of magnet, and on your back is a huge iron rod, and so you're stuck there and you can't get up. No matter how much you try, it's an effort. But once you push through that and you start sitting up, and you're sitting up in the bed, there's not so much force to pull you back down. That's when action helps. You really push yourself to do more and more and more action, and then finally you're in a momentum, and then eventually you can stand up and you can start to take steps. Or another way of looking at it is you have to push through that procrastination to create momentum, like pushing a big boulder. So there's a big boulder here, you want to move it. When you first put effort in to start moving it, it'll take some time, but once it starts rolling, it's much more easy to do. It's much more easy to push. So this tamasic tendencies can happen at any time really, and it's always there to suck you back. In my experience, I'll share something briefly. I'm been connected to Mohanji for some years, and I had the fortunate grace, I would say, to serve him directly. And Mohanji, as a master, he works at an incredibly fast pace, 0 tamas. In fact, he hits hard on it. That's the one thing he says, I will completely hit hard. Because if you're not doing things, you're not moving, then why be in a path of spirituality? That's his sort of reasoning. So when I first joined him, his work ethic and his speed and his momentum is very, very intense. Right from early morning, 4 a.m, he's beginning answering messages, right through to then in the evening, work is happening, and he doesn't delay anything for a second. Anything he comes into his desk, he works on, finishes it, and completes. So in the early days, when I admit I'm a little bit more lazy, I was a bit more lazier, I would have some small tasks, such as can you make a phone call to this person, or inform this person about this, or follow up that message, contact them and see what they would like to have. And so I'd write it down in my notebook, and I'd put it to a side, and it'll be there in my notebook, and I think, okay, I'll do that later, I'll make a cup of tea, I'll do it in a little while. And so like that, the day would drift by until I'd meet in the morning next day and be asked the question, so did you call that person? And I'll be like, no, I haven't done it yet, I'm going to do it later. And that's when he would become really, really animated. He said, why are you delaying things? Why are you postponing things? You should complete things now. How do you know you'll be here tomorrow? How do you know you'll be alive tomorrow? So it was a big lesson for me. And I think when you have a life and you have goals and have aspirations, it's good to be aware that there's always this part of you that will want to bring you back to a comfort zone. It'll want to put you to a place where you're not moving, where things are easy, where you don't have to put in effort. But you really need to push through that so that you can achieve what you want to in life. And when I come back to the first thing, time being the currency of life, we should use our life well. Every minute counts, every second counts really, how we're using it. So a life lived well is one where you're complete in action, you're completing what you want, because that brings satisfaction, it brings self-inspiration, it brings good motivation. A common question which I've heard in talks with Mohanji is how to overcome this, Tamas. I want to do things, but I just feel tired, I feel lazy, and all this type of questions come. And the key thing there is just to get into action, to start moving. And I've experienced that myself. When you take one step, you start movement, you start doing an activity, and that also brings enthusiasm. People come and join you, and slowly the momentum builds, and before you know it, you're doing great things in the world. So that's a little brief message on Tamas. And here at the center, we are all coming together as community to live a spiritual life being connecting to ourselves, achieving our highest potential. And so talking about these things, sharing, and being in action at the center. We've got lots of work going on, lots of volunteer opportunities, and people are coming and using their time to serve and also just attain their highest in their own way. It's a place where we're coming together and can be on a journey together. So I welcome you to come and watch more videos as well. And anytime you can visit, we're welcome. You can come here, Scotland, near Huntly in Aberdeenshire. And again, my name is Christopher. I'm here, permanent resident, and look forward to speaking to you soon and sharing more of these type of videos.